What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's Wednesday, May 31st edition of Touch 'em All with BC with at BC underscore Houston 1. BC is here with myself. I am Dalton Brown at Dalton on Sports on Twitter. We are excited to jump through the card today. Going to move pretty fast. We've got a lot of games to get to today and a lot going on. But we've also got some fun bets. Our bets are a bit varied today, which should be pretty good as well. So looking forward to diving in. And without further ado, we've got a game that starts in 30 minutes here between the Rangers and the Tigers. So we're going to go to that one first. The finale of this series from Comerica Park. Tigers are turning to Joey Wentz on the mound, a lefty, against Dane Dunning for the Rangers. You know, we actually have the same bet on this game, then you've got a little extra. I'll let you go first.
Appreciate you, Dalton. Thank you very much. Always nice to be on with you. I did not have a starter last night when I looked at this. I went ahead and just capped it with Dunning. Throwing very well, giving up only 4 earned, 22 2/3 with 15 strikeouts. Tigers have been putting up some runs and winning some games. They lost 6-10 last night after being shut out in the opener, but previous to that, they won 3 of 4 from the White Sox. They scored 23 in that series. Then they got 2 out of 3 from the Royals, scoring 15 there. Tigers have been hitting right-handed pitching average this month. I think they are probably going to run into a bit of a buzzsaw against Dunning. Is he overvalued? Yes, a bit. But I don't think this Tigers offense is anything to write home about either. He does a really good job of keeping the ball on the ground. He avoids barrels, and he still hasn't surrendered a home run all season. It's not going to happen against these Tigers. Highly doubt we have a home run for Detroit today. The Rangers' wagon's been an offense pretty much all month. 137 WRC, lefties on the road. Wentz has been a gas can. That's really all I needed to do was see his name up there and just double check his last few game logs. But yeah, I'm going back Dunning here. Give me the Rangers first 5. Got that at 120, and then I like the Rangers team total over 5. If you go to my Twitter profile, BC underscore Houston 1, I do have some base props on there. For Young, Seager, and Simeon. Those guys have been lighting the world on fire. Not quite as well as a couple of your Dodgers, but they're definitely plating some runs. That's what I got, brother. What you got?
Yeah, I'm on the same Rangers first 5 run line. Rangers minus half a run over the first 5. I was able to snag that at minus 110. I like it quite a bit. Joey Wentz has been an absolute gas can. He's really been one of the worst pitchers in baseball this season among starters who are qualified. ERA over 9 in May, WHIP over 2 in May. Rangers 3rd in baseball in May, and WRC plus against left-handed pitching at 129. So we don't need Dane Dunning to be great, but Dane Dunning has been really good of late. You know, like you said, I think there's some negative regression coming his way eventually. That expected ERA is closer to 4. But even if a little bit of that expected regression shows up today, I still think we're going to cover this number over the first 5 because I think the Rangers are going to go nuts against Dane Dunning. So total agreement there on first 5 minus half a run. And I know you've got your team total as well. So best of luck and onward we go.
User.
Also, I wanted to take a second to shout out Sports Data Now. We appreciate them, sponsoring the show, being a part of what we do. I know BC's been monitoring. He's been, logging all his bets there and really doing an awesome job. He's got a nice winning record there. So be sure to pop over to BC's Twitter account and check that out. Follow them on Twitter as well at Sports Data Now.
Appreciate that. Yeah, Andrew and the guys do a great job out there tracking bets, giving insight. I've got my 30-day up and ready to go. I'll post it after the show. Breakdown is bet type, records, profits, units, ROI. It even breaks it down to graphs. So I've got an XY graph. I've got another bar graph. I've got a circle graph for your sports profile, or excuse me, for what sports you are betting in category. And then, of course, you got your bet viewer, which breaks down every single wager you made. It's all in really easy to read data, very appeasing to the eye, and it's just been badass. So really appreciate Andrew and the guys out there helping us get it done, and it's been pretty good. I'll post my 30-day here in a second. Let's just say 25 units plus. So it's been a pretty good month.
Awesome. Well, nicely done. All right. Let's move on to the next game here. Pittsburgh Pirates, San Francisco Giants. This is going to be a 3:45 Eastern time start from the Bay Area. Again, another matinee game to finish up the series. This one from Oracle Park by the Bay. These two teams have split the first two games in this series. As you can tell by the hat I'm wearing today, I am all over the Buccos, specifically in the first 5 innings. I was able to get them at plus 120 first 5 innings, but I would play them all the way to minus 120, minus 125. Wrote this one up last night for betting predators. I think Mitch Keller is a pitcher who is very much worth backing. You look at his expected ERA right around 3. He's really been excellent all season. His last start against Seattle, the numbers were shaky. Having sat and watched that game, he was pretty lights out. Eventually, it unraveled on him. I think a lot of it had to do with the fact that he was pitching with a massive lead, and he still cashed as an underdog first 5 in that game as well. In general, I think he's a guy that I absolutely believe in. Anytime I'm giving him plus money, I'm going to be very intrigued by it, especially against somebody like Alex Wood. Alex Wood, 1-0 the 3.51, but you look at his Baseball Savant page, really reads as an average to even slightly below average pitcher. Walks way too many batters. Last time out, he walked 5 of them. He's got a 4.60 ERA in May. It's not that I think Alex Wood is awful by any means, but he's not in the same weight class as Mitch Keller. And if you're going to give me the significantly better starter and two lineups that I don't think are far apart at all, I'm going to take the Pirates at plus money over the first 5 innings, keeping it pretty simple there. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you in there. I am, like I said, I'm not going to fade Alejandro Madera. That is Spanish for Alex Wood. I'm not going to fade him. I think he's a solid pitcher. I really do. And let's be honest, the Bucs offense is nothing to write home about. But I do think that Mitch Keller does enough to keep them in this game. And really, we're just kind of betting on the Bucs to score some damn runs. They've not. I mean, I'll go back to the game log again, but for the purposes of time, I mean, they just haven't been. They haven't been backing their ace, honestly. Excuse me. But I'm really looking at the under. I think I like the under maybe a little more than than backing Keller in the first 5, as spectacular as he's been since like beginning of April. The one blowout versus Tampa like 4 weeks ago, but I mean 5 seasons worth of 4.6-ish ERA performance has made way for a 3.01 ERA. And that's almost exactly what his expected is. So, I mean, the guy is dealing right now. We should not expect a fall off. All the metrics are elite. Opponent expected batting average, a walk rate are fantastic. I say the only question mark right now in his game is he has had trouble keeping the ball in the yard lately. 3 home runs surrendered in his last 2 games. That's as many as he had in the entire month of April. Giants are number 5 in the majors in going yard, and we've got a 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing out. Let me double check that one more time. Yep, Oracle, 14-mile-an-hour wind blowing straight out, 59-degree temp. Pretty decent hitting weather today. I am a little bit concerned about that. The Giants were mostly anemic at the plate, but the offense has gotten itself out of the cellar. Proved to a 247 team batting average, 739 OPS, a little better than league average. I don't think that matters. I've got faith in Keller. I think that he'll still be able to deal. Current offensive form has not been good. Like I said, they put up a crooked number on Monday versus Pittsburgh. And then they did that one more time in another game versus Milwaukee in their last series. But every other time they struggled to get more than 4 runs. Again, Alex Wood, serviceable, 3.5 or 3.5 ERA to 4 expected. He keeps hard contact down. Opponent batting average, 80 percentile, ground ball guy. So that's going to help him out. Bucs are going to be able to take advantage of the wind. Pittsburgh offense, 4 runs or more and twice their 7. Bad versus lefties. I'm just reading all my notes at this point now. Both teams OPS below 700. Both bullpens are average or better. So last night was a 2-1 final. I don't think we stay that low, but something like that wouldn't surprise me. I'm on the under 8 minus 115. I also like Keller. He's going to outdo a Wood. I just need the Bucs to give him at least 1 run. But I'm on their money line as well, plus 105. And go ahead and give me the Nerfy as well at minus 130.
Sounds good. Hopefully the Bucs can give us some offensive support and ease some of those concerns. We'll see. Next game here, Washington Nationals at Los Angeles Dodgers, my Los Angeles Dodgers. I'm fading the Dodgers today in the first 5 innings. And I'm taking a few shots with big underdogs like this today. I'm going to be on Washington first 5 plus 185 is the number I got it at. I'm seeing it now at plus 198 in some places. Look, Noah Syndergaard has been awful this season. A pitcher of his quality shouldn't be minus 250 against anybody, and really shouldn't. I don't think he should be favored more than even minus 150. I mean, I get it's Washington. I get their offense isn't that good against righties. This isn't like a smash spot by any means, but Patrick Corbin, for the most part, over the last month, has been at least competitive and somewhat presentable. The Dodgers are not in their preferred split hitting against a lefty here. This is one of those where, it's not some super confident 70% play, but if you're going to give me the Nats at almost 2-1 in the first, you're going to give me the Nats at almost 2-1 in the first, I don't know, 5 innings of a game, I think that's totally worth taking, especially they're trying to avoid a sweep. Their offense has not been that awful over the last month or so. So I don't know. This is just kind of a field play for me. Watching Syndergaard, the guy doesn't hold any runners on. He gets knocked around the yard every start. It's just really non-competitive. And so I think a team like Washington that can be a little feisty on offense is going to get after him a little bit. And, I know the metrics aren't good for their offense, but I don't think they have to be against Syndergaard. So you're giving me almost 2-1 in the first 5. I'm going to take it with Corbin and the Nats, and we'll see how that goes.
I mean, I think the Dodgers are pretty good. Damn near destroying left-handed pitching. This month, WRC plus 143, third best OPS. They got a really low K rate. I think they're going to do pretty damn well today. I don't think this is going to be a flat spot for them. Interesting thing about Corbin, and this is something that I'm just realizing now in the last 30-day sample size, the first of the month, I kind of look back on the entire month and see how everyone's performing, and we're all talking him up. He had 2 runs only allowed in the entire month. Performances in Detroit, New York, San Francisco, and Chicago. Well, now we realize that he ended up having such good outings, partly because, or maybe all, because all those teams really suck against left-handed pitching. So he finally ran into the Royals, who hit lefties, pretty well. They don't hit for power, but they move the line, and they got excellent barrel rate and hard contact. And he got lit up, 6 earned and 7 hits and a homer. So I see a similar fate here, probably much worse because this Dodgers lineup is just so damn dangerous. It doesn't seem like they have really any weak points at this point, and they're just freaking wagging. As you said, Thor, rough go, underperforming, 6.2 ERA, 5.23 expected. Got shelled by the Rays. Nats are hitting righties well enough, 96 WRC plus, team average 266. That's actually third best in the league for the month. Over is the play here. I am more interested in focusing on the Dodgers team total over. They're just barrel fire hot right now. We did really well last night cashing some player props late. It's just been a recipe for success. They're a wagon. I'm still going to keep riding it. I'm on the over, but I'm much stronger on Dodgers team total. I went ahead and took an alt line over 6. I got plus 105. Check my Twitter later. I'm sure Mr. Freeman and Mr. Martinez will be getting more money from me this afternoon as well, because those guys are just knocking the cover off. So pretty excited about watching this game. Should be fireworks.
Yeah, I mean, I hear you. The Dodgers have been hitting lefties better in May. I do think some of that are the 14 hits and 10 runs they had against Josh Fleming on Sunday. And while that was an impressive showing, I think it's carrying the water for them a little bit. And just for me, it's one of those things. Like I've watched them. I watch them obviously every night, and over the years, this has been an issue for them. Part of it too is I think we're going to see Trace Thompson in the lineup today. That becomes kind of a free square. I think they put out their weaker lineup against lefties, and look, you're taking a plus 200 or a plus 185. You're kind of just throwing a dart, and this is just a dart I'm willing to throw. So we'll see. I'm throwing a few other darts today, so hopefully, if one or two of them land, I'll be in good shape.
If there's one thing we've seen from this series, run seems to be coming a little bit late in the game. So you are right. When you've got Syndergaard versus Corbin, and you're getting 2-1, that's a no-brainer. That's not really a dart. That's a coin flip, in my opinion. With again, you lean Dodgers again because the potential's there, but I mean they've just been getting after. It seems like they've been playing their runs a little bit later. And I hear you on that crooked number they hung up, but that was on Sunday. That was only a few days ago. If we were talking about like a game in the beginning of the week of the month, excuse me, I wouldn't give it so much credence. But I mean that lends to the current form the Dodgers are in this week, which is just unstoppable. So, like I said, I'm much higher on their team total. Thor probably gets lit up as well, but I think they keep it rolling.
Sounds good. Well, I like that you have a lot of good things to say about the Dodgers. That always gets me going. All right. Next one down, we've got San Diego and Miami. Is our small favorites over the Marlins here, over under 8.5. I handicapped this game last night. I didn't come out with any big takeaways or any strong lean on a side. I think for the sake of time today, I don't need to go through a whole handicap here. If you want to, you're welcome to, or we can just move on. I didn't get a chance to see if you have anything here.
I don't. I'll just make one observation. This is just something I kind of picked up that I thought was interesting. I'll bring to the program for any of the viewers. You see Blake Snell and Braxton Garrett, you're immediately thinking with these offenses and this lefty on lefty violence, you're probably thinking under 4.5 Braxton Garrett versus 5.3 expected Snell, 5.4, 5.91. So both pitchers are new regressions, but both offenses, bottom 10 in OPS, Pods are quite famous now for underperforming in offense, and Marlins have been perennial underperformers forever, it seems, in plating runs. That being said, though, in the month of May, both teams are top 10 in WRC+. It's 128 for San Diego, 122 for Miami. Top 10 in OPS and on-base percentage, as well as top 15 in team average. So these offenses, even though they've been pretty bad, they're ascending. I think more noticeably with Miami. I'm leaning pretty hard, especially when facing southpaws, I should say, pardon me. I'm leaning pretty hard at the over. The Pods have been scoring runs, 5 runs or more in 4 of their 5, 9 yesterday against Miami. That was against Alcantara. He was responsible for 4 of those. Fish, 4 or more in 6 of their last 7. Leaning pretty hard to the over here. I think that even though it doesn't look like a blatantly over game, the underlying metrics suggest we could get over this number somewhat easily. I really wanted to get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I mean, I think if I had to play a side on the total, I'd play the over. I played that yesterday between these two and cashed it pretty easily, which was very comforting to see. I think if I had to play a side, I'd probably lean Miami. Just because I really, like you said, both these teams have been hitting lefties great of late. I'd probably lean Miami first 5 if I had to take a side. A lot of that's just because Snell walks so many batters, and yes. I'm pretty high on. I've watched Braxton Garrett a good bit, and I'm pretty high on his stuff. In his last few starts, he's been pretty successful. So, I know his numbers and leading indicators aren't great, but I trust him actually a little bit more than Snell at the moment, mostly because I don't think Braxton Garrett's going to give the Padres 4 or 5 free base runners, whereas I think Snell will do just that. So, and especially part of it too with the Marlins, some of their guys like Brian De La Cruz, Jorge Soler have just been absolutely destroying left-handed pitching, like just unreasonably destroying left-handed pitching. So
a monster.
I would lean Marlins first 5. I'd lean over. None of it quite makes the cut as a play for me.
Yeah, and I'll just take a quick glance at what we got right here, see if it's worth I mean, you get a small plus money, plus 105 on the Marlins, small juice to over 8.5. So the number hasn't moved at all, really. I mean, if you're feeling squirrely and you hit a bunch of your early daytime bets and you want to throw some pizza money on it, I'd be with you on that, over 8.5, and the Marlins at plus 105. I do like that, and probably a Soler prop in there. That guy's just been a monster lately. Well, I like that. I'm actually jotting that down. I might make a move on that later today.
Sounds good. All right, Philadelphia Phillies, Mets. Phillies are small favorites here, minus 117, over under 9. We've got Aaron Nola on the mound for Philadelphia against Carlos Carrasco for the Mets. I've got a knee-jerk instinct to want to fade Carrasco. I'm just not impressed enough with what I've seen from Nola recently. This game did not make the cut for any bets for me. You have anything on this one?
No, and I'll be real fast. You remember last week my plan was to fade Cookie Carrasco versus the Cubbies, and he allowed 5 runs in 4 of his last 5. So naturally he shoved. I completely lost that bet. Yeah. I'm gonna abstain from making it. That's the way the cookie crumbles joke too. So I'll save everyone that. Aaron Nola struggled. Braves tagged him pretty good. 5 earns on 8 hits and 6. I did really well backing Kodai Senga and the Mets on the run line yesterday, but the offense wasn't there. I made that run line 2-0. I don't really play the Phillies. I don't think they've been a bet on team at any point this season. I certainly don't believe in Nola or Carrasco. They're not bet on pitchers. This one's got stay away written all over for me. If you were to Venmo your personal money to me, Dalton, and told me to play this game, I'd say Phil's money line, but no, stay away.
Yeah, agreed. Cool. All right. Last National League game of the night. We've got the Colorado Rockies and the Arizona Diamondbacks tonight. Diamondbacks minus 165 favorites with Tommy Henry on the mound, the lefty. He'll be taking on Dinelson Lamet, who's making his return to the majors after a stint in the minors where he's kind of converted back into a starter. He was wildly unsuccessful out of the bullpen for Colorado early this season. I don't have anything here. Too many unknowns. Handicapped it from all angles. Didn't find a bet. I just between Tommy Henry, who's been high variance and not great, and Dinelson Lamet, who I have no clue what we're getting with him coming back as a starter. It's a pass for me. What you got? Anything? You got anything there?
No, not really. I mean, I'd like to back the Arizona. Oh, hold on, lost my screen here. I was checking the total. I'd like to back the Diamondbacks. I mean, we're getting a really big number here. I'm seeing 10 with juice to the under. This might be worth some digging. I'd be backing some Diamondback props here. Like you said, we don't know what we're going to get out of Lamet, so it's kind of hard to say. Maybe just back a couple of player props on some of Diamondback's hotter hitters. But like you said, I didn't do too much with this game at all, really. I saw Lamet, and then Henry's not a backable pitcher for me. But the Diamondbacks offense is. But like you said, who knows what we're going to get out of Lamet. I don't have anything for you on this game, buddy.
Sounds good. All right. Angels White Sox is another day game. This is a 2:10 Eastern, 1:10 Central Time start. Anaheim turning to Jaime Barria on the mound against Lance Lynn for Chicago. Quick reminder: Anaheim is not in LA or LA County. This is another game I don't have any bets on. I will say Jaime Barria is better than most people assume. He has been actually pitching pretty well when he's in a bulk innings role. So I would caution against fading him. If I had to play this game, I'd probably take Anaheim, and I'd probably bet them in the first 5 innings. I just don't trust Lance Lynn. But he's been more presentable of late. He's thrown 6 or 7 innings in his last 3. But I mean, look, 5 walks for him last start. He's still super volatile. Nothing strong here. Lean Angels first 5 innings. You got anything there?
No, man. I'm just going to go ahead and also add to the Jaime Barria love that we're throwing out here. That guy's fun to watch. Man, he's got some devious stuff. His primary slider pitcher throws out with just devastating effectiveness. More than 50% of the time, he's getting over a strikeout per inning. Keeps his barrels down. Not really like the White Sox are hitting righties well. They're not hitting anyone well right now. I think they broke a 3 or 4 game slide last night. He's a bolt guy. He actually has not done well as a starter in his history, but he's pitching really well right now. He's someone I would like to back. Lance Lynn, not my favorite guy to back. Favorite guy to watch, though. That guy is intense out there. He's been okay, like you said, 15 earned and 30 2/3, 30 strikeouts, 4 home runs. Angels are hitting righties pretty well, 125 WRC plus. Superior advantage of the bullpen. Southside is one of the worst pins all season, pretty much. Lance Lynn, inconsistent. Might have a good outing. Could get tagged for 7 or 8 again. I like Barria over Lynn to start. Anaheim's offense better than Chicago's. Strikeout rate's concerning. I think Lance Lynn's still punching out like 25%. Angels are striking out like 26%. So, doesn't make my card, but they just strike out 13 times last night. Didn't make my card, but I kind of like them on the money line as a home dog. Plus 115 last night. I'll probably take a small piece of that. Not going to be an official play or my favorite play, but I think I might do a little something on that.
All right, sounds good. Next game down, we got another day game. This one's at 3:10 Eastern, 2:10 Central Time. The Cleveland Guardians and the Baltimore Orioles. We've had a few pitching changes here, and BC and I we discussed this one right before coming on air, and we landed on the same side of it. It was originally Austin Voth who was, slated to be the starter. Now it looks like we're going to get Keegan Aiken for Baltimore. I think what we're looking at is Aiken to start and then probably some bulk innings for Voth, but more or less a bullpen game for Baltimore. I don't hate it. It's a good bullpen. And Baltimore has the far superior offense here. Cleveland is just not hitting. And I'm going to stay on the fade Shane Bieber train. This is a guy with an expected ERA of close to 5. You look at his last few starts, 9 base runners in his last start, 9 base runners in the start before that, 12 base runners in the start before that. He keeps getting away with it. He keeps winning these starts anyway. It is going to come back to bite him in the ass at some point. And I think Baltimore is the offense that can absolutely do that. So give me the O's at even money outright on the money line in this game. I think they're going to. I think they're going to pick up the last game of this series, and I think they take 2 out of 3. So yeah, give me Baltimore. What do you got?
Yeah, I mean, we were talking about this morning. I didn't even have a pitcher to handicap last night, and then Voth, and then now, what do you call it?
Aiken.
Keegan Aiken. Sorry, I couldn't get that out. Sorry, I'm looking for my first 5 line. Suddenly it's gone. But yeah, I mean, you can get it picking right now. There's a stray plus 102 out there, I think, but I don't know, man. The more I look into this Baltimore Orioles offense, and the more the Beebs has kept it good, not great, the regression monster still has not gotten him completely. 3.04 ERA, 1.23 WHIP, but his expected says he's going to fall off a cliff. 4.9 expected, 4.35 xFIP. Strikeout numbers are just career low. They're like below league average career low for bad for him. He wasn't an overpowering pitcher, but he definitely got his Ks when he was making that Cy Young run. It's just been bad. The O's offense is in good form. Put up an 8 spot last night. Only average, pardon me, versus righties this month. But I mean, I like Voth. I like the bullpen. The Orioles bullpen is one of the better, more consistent bullpens in the major. You could argue the second or third best bullpen in the league right now. So yeah, I mean, I'm with you on that. I might actually get a little bit greedy. I'm seeing like some of these alt lines. You know me, I am juice adverse. If it's not even or plus money, I'm usually looking the other direction. But you can lay an even 1 run on the Birds at plus 145. I might do something creative with that because you are right. The more I look at this, the more I'm thinking the O's might have their way with Bieber. Superior offense, superior bullpen. I mean, it checks all the boxes. I don't know why I'm so apprehensive. And we're both in agreement Bieber's going to fall off. I'm not sure why I didn't already come to this conclusion. Probably because there wasn't a starting pitcher for Baltimore. But yeah, I'm with you on that. Let's go ahead and let's do Baltimore tonight or this afternoon. Definitely.
All right. Sounds good. Go O's. Next one down, Twins at Astros. This is going to be 8:10 Eastern tonight, 7:10 local time in Houston for this one. Louis Varland on the mound for Minnesota against Hunter Brown for the Astros, couple young right-handers. Honestly, if I were setting a line for this game, I'd probably make it right around Astros minus 160, minus 165. I'd probably make the total right around 8. So I don't see enough value here to warrant a bet on either side. No. For me, it's a pure stay away. I think Varland is kind of cruising for a bruising. Expected ERA for him over 5. Contact profile not great, but he's been presentable in May. He's been kind of just dancing his way around and getting it done. He could keep them in it. Obviously, Hunter Brown, this is a really solid young pitcher. He did throw 7 scoreless at Minnesota on April 9th. I do wonder if that helps the Twins now, having seen him. Houston and Minnesota have both been just about average against righties. Yeah, I mean, I think Houston should be favored. I think they should be a moderate to decent-sized favorite, and that's what they are. So I'm staying away here. What do you got?
That's my Orioles bet right now. Yeah, my hero, Hunter Brown, Louis Varland. I have some pretty big concerns about Brown in this matchup. Twins have been making a lot of hard contact lately. They've been hitting a lot of home runs. Kind of seems like the games that they're winning the most are the ones where they're going yard. And Brown is very susceptible to hard contact. If you look at his pitching profile, and a hard hit and exit velo are his only blue metrics, and blue means bad on Savant. So I do have some concerns about his outing today. I think Minnesota can probably get after him, hit a few hard balls, maybe even go yard. Astros are now finally average WRC versus righties at exactly 100, so exactly average. Right in the middle, 13th or 16th in slugging average, OPS on base. So, like you said, they're the epitome of average. Louis Varland's been solid, 4.24 versus 5.15 ERA. He's allowed some contacts. Astros might be able to hang a few on him. Both these teams, bullpens, doing very well, top 5. Frankly, I just don't see an edge here. I mean, to me, this is a pretty big coin flip game. And just because the obvious advantage seems to be on the starting pitcher, but when you look at Brown's metrics and you look at how hard the Twins are hitting the ball lately, I mean, I don't see an edge here. Twins money line at plus 145 is where all the value is. Plus a run and a half is too much juice for me at minus 140. I think this is going to be an in-game opportunity. Obviously, I'm going to be watching the game. I'm going to see if the Astros are hitting the righty well or if the Twins are teeing off on Brown. Because I think whoever sets the tone early in that game probably carries it to its conclusion. So no official play. I'll be looking in-game. If everyone's doing what they're supposed to, this should be a pretty easy under, but we'll see.
Sounds good. All right. The last AL game on the slate tonight before we get into our interleague, we've got the New York Yankees at the Seattle Mariners. Mariners minus 142 favorites here, over under 7.5. I do have a bet here. I grabbed it last night. There was one book that had a stray minus 130 on Seattle first five minus one. Yeah, on Seattle first five minus 130. I think the Yankees have gotten after a couple Seattle righties in this series. I understand the apprehension to turning around and betting Seattle today. I think that's probably why they're a smaller favorite than they should be. George Kirby's been great. Expected ERA for him, down in the low threes. He's got an ERA under 4 in May. His last start against Mitch Keller and the Pirates was not good. But I think in general, I'm going to trust what I've seen from him most of the season over that. I think in general, he's a guy that I trust. And part of the reason I feel that way is because he doesn't walk anybody. He's not going to give the Yankees any free base runners. And I think he'll do just enough to, put up a real solid 5-6 innings here. That's what he usually does. And part of this is that I think Seattle can hit Clark Schmidt a little bit. Both these teams are top 10 in the month against right-handed pitching in WRC+. So either team is capable of getting after the other starter. I just think Seattle's a little more likely to do it in the first 5 innings. Looking at Clark Schmidt, expected ERA around 5, poor contact profile, really just okay in some other areas. ERA around 4.5 in May. He has been pretty solid in his last 2 starts, but this is a guy who's walked 2 or more hitters in 5 straight. He's gone more than 5 innings just once. He's not particularly efficient. ERA for him, 7.27 on the road. Clearly not comfortable pitching away from the Bronx. So this is one for me where, I'm a little tepid about it, but I like the Mariners' first 5 innings minus 130 on the money line. I think they are going to be very up and at them to avoid losing 3 in a row to the Yankees here.
Yeah, this is actually a game that I have not handicapped yet, simply because I have been on the Mariners both games this series, and they have made me look like a freaking idiot. So I actually saw this game, and I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do this one last, and I just never got around to it. To be 100% honest with yourself and the viewers, so I will. I'm just so turned off. You ever get in one of those moods where you're like, okay, they're gonna do it this time. Okay, no, bounce back time, and you just look stupid because it wasn't even close, and you're like, I don't want anything to do with this series anymore. That's kind of where I'm at right now mentally. I'm doing so much better in everything that's not been New York and Seattle that I just don't feel like I want to waste my time. Just they need to move on to their next series, and I'll just pick it up from there. I'm just so turned off by how much the Mariners have been underperforming and how much the Yankees offense is overperforming on the West Coast.
Yeah. Oh, sounds good. All right. Heading into interleague ball, we've got the Tampa Bay Rays at the Chicago Cubs. This is another day game. This one starts in about an hour and 10 minutes. It'll be at 2:20 Eastern time. I'm on Tampa Bay. I got them on the money line at minus 130 here. I think it's finally time to start actually fading Justin Steele. I know he's a pitcher that we made money on early in the season, but the wheels have started to come off for him. And I think Tampa is the wrong team to run into when the wheels are starting to fall off of a lefty. This is a team that has been putting up ridiculous numbers against left-handed pitching in May. It's a team that's lost 2 in a row, and I think he's going to have a really focused offensive approach today. And I think Zach Eflin is decent. I don't think he's amazing, but this is a guy who still has an expected ERA under 3, an ERA in the low 3s in May, 7 innings, 1 earned run last start. He did have 8 base runners in that game, but I think, in general, he's a guy who I'm not super high on, but I'm high enough on him that I'm willing to back him when the Rays are facing a lefty. And that's really what does it for me here. The Cubs are 24th in baseball in the month against righties. So a massive gap there as far as the platoon splits, and we know Tampa's the better of these two teams. I think Tampa finally bounces back, steals one before the series ends, and I think they might beat up on Justin Steele pretty good today. What do you think?
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I don't know if they're going to give him the treatment the Reds gave him in his last outing. He got tagged 10 times for 6 runs, but I think it's going to be something similar. An interesting note there weren't any home runs in that last performance, just a ton of base hitting. And anytime he gets shelled, you can pretty much guarantee it was all done inside the yard. Hard hit and barrel percentage are elite. He's only allowed 2 home runs all season. Kind of impressive considering where he plays, his home park. Regardless, I don't think we should expect that necessarily that similar outcome, but I mean, Rays this month versus lefties, 179 WRC plus, 314 average, 377 OPS. That's like second or third best in the league in all those during the span. I do like Zach Eflin. I'm much, much higher on him than you are, I think. I talked at length in our last episode last week about how Eflin is a solid pitcher to back. We get really good numbers on him because he goes long in games, 6 or 7 in every start this month, 12 earned on 27 hits, in 33 and a 5 with only 5 home runs allowed. He's coming in really good form. He just shut down Toronto. This is definitely someone I want back. They're both pitchers. Okay, sorry. I didn't get a consensus line on the total until about 12 o'clock. I think we've got a good chance of rain and some stiff winds, 10-15 blowing in. That'll help both pitchers keep their ground profiles, but, I mean, you just got to love this Rays lineup more. I mean, they're just mashing. I like Eflin more than Steele in current form. I like this Rays lineup more than the Cubs in their current form. It's not going to get crazy out there, but I think that with Steele's profile of already giving up a bunch of base hits and not necessarily home runs, you got to love the Rays here. I went ahead and laid a half run on the first 5. I got that at plus 105, and I like the Rays on the run line, plus 115. Normally, I'd be all over a team total here, but again, that wind is pretty crazy, and we may even be looking at a potential rainouts. So let's just count on the Rays to play a little small ball and get that dub.
Sounds good. Go Rays. Next one. This has been quite a puzzling series. The Atlanta Braves, Oakland A's, finishing off their series from the Coliseum today. Afternoon game there. Looking at 3:37 Eastern time, 12:37 locally. I have no idea why they play at 7 after the half hour. I don't really know, but whatever. Yeah, I mean, look, this is. I'm going back to the well. I'm going Braves minus 1.5.
You're crazy.
Picked that up at minus 125 last night. Look, I think the A's have caught lightning in a bottle 2 nights in a row. But as Coach Dennis Green once said, they are who we thought they were. I don't buy into the A's all of a sudden being this competitive team. I think the Braves have been embarrassed the last 2 days. I think they are going to come out and embarrass James Kaprielian here. I'll kind of jump into some handicapping notes. Looking at Jared Schuster, who makes the start for Atlanta. This is their number 1 prospect. He's a lefty. The expected ERA is around 5. But the results have been improving a little bit. 1 earned and 3 earned his last 2 starts. He's not giving up a ton of hits. He hasn't been super efficient, but he's under 4 in May, and Oakland is a dream matchup for any starting pitcher. I think we'll see him get right a little bit today for Atlanta. James Kaprielian is James Kaprielian. Expected ERA in the season for him around 6. A little bit better in May, but Houston still put up 5 runs on 8 hits on him in his last start. 7 walks in 17 innings in May. That's not going to be any good against Atlanta. If you're giving them free base runners, they will hit the ball. They will punish you for it. I think the Braves could really blow him up here. It would not surprise me at all. I know the Braves' metrics against righties are average-ish. I know Oakland's numbers against lefties are average-ish. I'm just not buying both those in May. I'm just not buying it for Oakland here. That terrible bullpen is going to rear its ugly head at some point. They've done a good job the first 2 games in this series, but Atlanta's offense is too good. Atlanta is an organization with too much pride to be swept by the A's. Atlanta minus 1.5, minus 125. I'd play that up to minus 140. This is a little bit of a field play for me. I cannot see Oakland pulling this off 3 days in a row.
You're a maniac. You ever think that You ever think we'd been in a world where we would live in a world, Dalton, where a rookie pitcher sporting a 5.33 ERA, making only his sixth start of the year, would open as a $2.27 favorite? That's wild.
Oakland.
That's Oakland. Exactly. This is Oakland. But this has gotten ridiculous. Braves didn't even win yesterday. They didn't win the day before that. They lost in a stalker score. See how they lost? They lost on a throwing error.
Yeah.
I mean, just the Braves are just can't get out of their own way right now. I just don't get it. Elder was better than Schuster. Sears is way better than Caprillion. You owe him an apology, by the way. I don't understand how we get anywhere near this game. They're just not in backable form. What I mean is the Braves aren't playing like a bet on team right now, and the A's aren't playing like the auto fade team that we all know and love. This is their second 2-game winning streak so far. They need to beat the Braves, obviously, on Monday. They should win this game. The Braves should win this game, but they're more heavily favored in the last 2 games, I think. Both pitchers' money line records don't give me any confidence in the first 5 either. Schuster's 1-4 and Cap is 1-4 in his last 5 on the money line. So they're not getting offensive backing from either of these teams, and the offense has been non-existent from yesterday. Shit. I guess I lean over. Both pitchers should be gotten after. The advantage definitely goes to the Braves pin once the starters are out, but I can't get there, man. This whole series has just been craziness. So
Yeah.
good luck with you, man. I'm rooting for you, but get as far.
I just can't help myself. That's all it is. I can't help myself. Fading Oakland has been probably the most profitable thing I've done this season, and I think it's going to come through today. We'll see. Brewers at Blue Jays. I've got a pretty strong opinion on this one too. I am on the Blue Jays. I played them in the first 5 innings of this game. You can get that at plus 188 on the money line. At least that's where I got it last night. I'm not sure if it's still there today, but I'd play it down a little bit from there. You can't give me a number above plus 150 in the first 5 innings against Alek Manoah unless it's with the Oakland A's and expect me not to play it. Manoah has been awful. His expected ERA this season is 6.42. His ERA in May is 6.45. 18 walks in 22 innings in May. Are you kidding me? 18 walks, 18 Ks. 5 earned runs or more in 3 of his 5 starts in May. He's been one of the worst pitchers in baseball. And I don't know whether it's just the fact that he's a little bigger and the pitch clock's getting to him. I don't know if the stuff is just diminished. League figured him out. I don't know what it is, but he's been awful. And he shouldn't be this big of a favorite against a team like Milwaukee, who they're not great on offense, but Milwaukee's not Oakland. Milwaukee's not Washington, right? I mean, this is at least a playable team. So I'm on Milwaukee first 5 innings plus 188. I get it. Toronto has great numbers against righties. I get it. Julio Teheran is trying to make a career comeback, and we don't believe in him yet. And I get it. But Teheran pitched okay in his first start, 5 innings, 1 earned run in his first outing of the season. This is not an easy assignment for him. But Toronto also hasn't really seen this guy. I don't think there's a super great scouting report out on Teheran right now. I'm not some believer that he's going to come back and be the ace he once was for the Braves, but this is a guy who, I think he could fool around and go 5 innings, 2 runs or something here. And I wouldn't be surprised to see Milwaukee knock Manoah out of the game early. So when you've got a pitcher as terrible as Manoah's been, and you're offering me plus money against him in the first 5, especially this kind of plus money, I can't resist. So I caught the Brewers plus 188 first 5. I'd play them down to plus 150 first 5 and pray for me. We'll see how it goes.
I'm not going to argue with you that is the only play to make in the first 5, I think. However, I am much higher. Actually, I take that back. I'm not higher on Manoah, but I am much, much lower on this Brewers offense. Let me go ahead and start from the top here. Julio Teheran, and it took me a second. I remember him from his days with Atlanta. He started at least 30 games for the Bravos between 2013 and 2019. He had a couple all-star appearances as well in that span. He was good. I remember him. What I was not aware of that he was trying to make a comeback at 32 years old after bouncing around between the Tigers, Angels, and now the Brewers with either few or no starts for or appearances for those organizations. He did pitch well against San Francisco, 5-inning pitch, 4 hits, 1 earned, struck out 5. The Giants aren't the Blue Jays. These Jays are going. They're one of the best hitting lineups in baseball versus righties in the WRC plus in the month of May. What can I say about Manoah that you haven't already said? I am Team Fade Alec Manoah. I'm on the record on this show saying that he's made us money last week, in spite of his poor pitching performance by just backing the Jays offense, and that's probably what I'm going to do. Actually, it is what I'm going to do this week. I'm just not impressed with the Brewers. Righties this month, 85 WRC plus. If you look at Manoah's game logs, and I studied these pretty hard, he does his best pitching versus below average teams. And when I mean his best pitching, I mean he keeps it manageable. Teams that move the line or hit for power usually knock him out early. Milwaukee is not going to be that team today. I don't think, at least. Bullpen, bottom 15 in the league. Teheran is a vet. I think Council's probably going to leave him out there a little too long. Don't really have a choice. Woodruff, Miley, Lauer, Ashby, all injured. Only reason we're seeing Teheran today. Walks have been an issue. Brewers take walks right in the middle of the league. I'm not deterred. I like the Toronto run line. I've got a wager on it at plus 105. I made that last night, and I'm going to have an even more significant wager on their team total over 6. I also like the alt line minus 2.5 just for fun. That's just not an official play. Looking at some Blue Jays hitter props as well. I think Teheran probably does well in the first few, but after they go around the lineup, they see him a couple times, or once, I should say, they're going to get after him pretty good, and they're going to get into that bullpen. So that's how I'm playing it. If you want to get your last wager back, I don't mind backing Manoah in the first 5. You just want to make a straight up bet.
I've already got a bet on it. I don't need to add to it. And then you have to give me some pretty heavy odds to add to it. You'd have to give me like plus 190 or something.
Yeah, I'm not going to give you what the book's giving you, but
yeah, it doesn't make sense for me to add, especially at a worse price. But I appreciate the offer. One last game here before I know you got to run, and we got to get folks out of here. But Cincinnati Reds at Boston Red Sox. I hit a nice Reds plus 162 on this game last night. I'm going back to the well with the Reds as big underdogs here. I caught them 160 plus 165 in the first 5 innings. I'm going back to it. I don't trust James Paxton for the Red Sox. Paxton expected ERA around 5.5. It finally fell apart for him last start. Like I think a lot of folks thought it would have in the first 2 starts. 3 innings, 5 earned runs, 2 homers, 3 walks, tons of base runners. We don't have enough data on Paxton to really know what he is right now, but I know he's not his old self. And This is a Cincinnati team that's starting to click a little bit. They're not super talented. I'm not arguing that they're going to push for a playoff spot or anything like that, but they're in decent form right now. We saw it last night. Even guys like Jose Barrero are hitting the ball well. Spencer Steer's been hitting the ball well. They're kind of a sneaky lineup at the moment, and I think they could carry that momentum against Paxton. Again, like Tehran, like some of these other guys, Weaver's not a guy that I'm passionate about backing, but his expected ERA is in the low 4s. He was encouraging in his last start against St. Louis. Pitched into the 7th inning, no earned runs, only 3 hits. ERA about 4.4 in May. This is not a guy who I'm like super confident in by any means, but I think Cincinnati is in pretty good form right now, a little bit better form than Boston is. And if you're going to give me plus 165, I'll take my chances with another dog here. I'm only going to need a couple of these to hit to get profitable in the day. And so give me Cincinnati. By the way, the Reds in May, 9th in baseball, 123 WRC plus against lefties. Boston in May, 19th against righties at 95. So platoon splits favor Cincinnati. Pitching matchup is a bit of a wash, maybe favors Cincinnati a little bit to me. So give me the Reds, first 5, plus 165. I'd probably play that down to plus 150 as well.
Like it. Love it. Reds versus a lefty right now is basically an auto bet. 120 tweet. Try it again. 123 WRC plus, 318 batting average, top 5 on base and OPS. And they shellacked the Red Sox last night. Cashed a bunch of player props on their hitters. Very undervalued lineup. They aren't hitting the ball very far, but they're hitting it well enough in the spots that the other players are not, and they're getting on base. And they cashed a very nice same-game parlay for me yesterday. Spencer Steer is my boy. Him and I can go play golf anytime. I don't see any reason to get off their train right now. The starter Weaver has not been a bet on pitchers so far, 5.45 versus a 4.3 expected. But he did come off a very nice outing versus St. Louis. He pitched 6 1/3, only allowing 3 hits and shutout ball. So that was very good. You're right. Paxton's not going to be vintage Paxton. We really don't know quite what he's going to be, but he's not. I think we're both pretty safe in assuming he's not going to be what he was when the Red Sox were making those deep runs a few years back. Really, what I'm concerned about is the Red Sox offense is starting to slide, especially against righties. Paxton was curb stomp versus the Angels his last outing as well. He's not coming in good form. I am going to only be playing. I like the Reds on the plus number. I don't know if you watched the game last night. I did. Sox came back. I think they had like 5 or 6 runs in the last inning. The bullpen just imploded and nearly surrendered like a 6-run lead in one inning. It was wild. So that was crazy. I'm going to take the Reds in the first 5. You can get plus 1.5 at even money. I think that's a pretty safe bet, but you're really relying on their offense to keep Weaver out of trouble and to get after Paxton. And of course, I got to keep playing those team totals. That team total over 5. You can get plus 120 on that alt line. So I will be on that for the Reds team total. And of course, I'll be having some player props and some same game parlays. I think that they get into Paxton pretty well, and that Boston bullpen, feeling great about that one.
Cool. All right, sounds good. Going through the best bets for today real quick before we get out of here. I'm going to be on the Texas Rangers. First 5 innings minus half a run. I need to put an F5 in there, so I typed that up wrong. But that is first 5 minus half a run for Texas. That game's 0-0 heading to the second right now. Rays, money line minus 130. Love the Rays against a lefty. Braves minus 1.5, minus 140, minus 125, minus whatever. The Braves are doing it today. Pirates first 5 plus 120. Washington first 5 plus 185. Milwaukee first 5 plus 188. Cincinnati first 5 plus 165. A lot of those fun plus monies. We can hit 2 out of those 4. We'll have some nice profit. Seattle first 5 minus 130, back in George Kirby, and the Baltimore Orioles even money over Shane Bieber. That is that's the full list for me today. We'll go through those here.
Absolutely. I'm also on the Rangers first 5 minus 120. I like the team total over 5. That game has just started. Rays first 5 minus a half plus 105, and the run line plus 115. Give me the Bucks money line plus 105. The Nerfy minus 130 and under 8 minus 115. That Bucks money line is actually Bucks first 5 money line. That's a typo on my part. Sorry. Dodgers team total over 6 plus money. Jays run line plus 105 and the team total over 6 plus 100. Reds first 5 plus a run, even money, and their team total over 5. I will have some same game parlays and some player props for a couple of these games, and I am with Dalton on a play on the Baltimore Orioles that I just ran out of characters for on this particular banner.
Sounds good. All right. Well, appreciate everybody who tuned in. Best of luck on the card today. Should be a fun Wednesday full of games. Looking forward to watching them. Basically right now. So gonna go watch some baseball and hopefully win some money today. And we will be back soon. Thanks so much for joining us. Thanks for Sports Data Now for helping us along. And we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, everyone. Good luck on your bets.